Hey everybody, Brian from Cabinet Joint here. We're going to talk today about assembly of the filler columns. We have a base filler column, a wall filler column, and a tall filler column. They all accomplish the same thing. Let's talk about some specs before we get into the assembly. They're all available 3-inch or 6-inch. There's no customization on these in terms of width. It's 3-inch or 6-inch only for all three of the variations, wall, base, and tall. The flutes, you can see this one has flutes on it, this one does not. You can get it with no flutes, or you can get it with rounded or tapered flutes. There's actually 3 different flute styles you can do on these columns. And if you have a 3-inch, you're gonna get 3 flutes. If you have a 6-inch, you're gonna get 6 flutes. And what you can do is if you have like a tall filler column or a base filler column such as this one, you can stop the flutes 6 inches short of the floor if you want to, because you're gonna have a toe kick here. So you can stop the flutes 6 inches short as if there was a toe kick, so the flutes would end up here and this would all be flush toe. So talk to your cabinet coach about that, but you can dictate the stop and start points of the flutes. On a base filler column, the standard is, I think it's 2 inches top, and then the 6 inches at the bottom, and then on a wall it's 2 and 2, and the tall ones are the same as the base, where they have the bigger space at the bottom and then 2 inches at the top. But again, you can dictate those with your cabinet coach if you want. They're available 5.5 inches deep all the way up to 30 inches deep, so you can vary your widths any way you want. These are really ideal pieces to use on like ends of an island. What we often see is you have a main area of cabinets, and then we would use base filler columns on the 2 legs, and then your seating area is capped at the ends by these base filler columns, so your cabinet coach or your designer can walk you through that. But we see the base filler columns used quite often there. Refrigerators, we'll often see customers take the tall filler columns and sandwich the bridge cabinet between, and then put their refrigerator in the hole, so now you have these nice tall fluted columns left and right. I think these were a lot more common with the flutes back in the day when we had a lot of opulence to our kitchens, but now that everything's kind of going shaker and real simple in style, if you use these, we typically see the no flutes. Let's talk really quick about the heights. The base filler columns are available 31.5 high to 96 high. Ironically, that's the same spec as the tall filler columns, 31.5 high to 96. I think the only reason we really have a tall and a base version is so customers don't get confused. They're looking for a tall and can't find it. We have a tall in the tall section and the base in the base section. The wall filler columns are available 12 all the way up to 65 high. And those heights are all variable by 1/16 of an inch. So you do have customization vertically, you just don't have it width-wise, 3 or 6 inch only. Aside from that, these are pretty straightforward cabinets to build, so I want to get you into the assembly now to show you how they go together. And again, this assembly works regardless of which of the 3 variations you have, the assembly is identical. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started on the assembly of these filler columns. I'm going to start with the base filler column. I'm not going to take you through the assemble identically. There's no difference really. But you can see the wall filler column laying next to me. The parts are the same. You're going to get 2 cabinet sides, a top and a bottom strip. I'll call them, they're almost not tops and bottoms, but it's like strips for the top and bottom, a filler, and no back. You're not looking for a typical back that you would have with a normal cabinet. So you'll see all that in the assembly. So let's get started on this base filler column. It's the same as every other cabinet. You're gonna have a finished side on the inside on both cabinets. We're gonna grab our bottle of glue, and we're gonna run a bead of glue on both shoulders all the way down. All right, I got my glue. On this particular box column, this one has an extended style on the left-hand side. The customer is going to be tucking a panel up behind. So we want to make sure this is our top. So we want to make sure we assemble this correctly. My finished side in, I'm going to take my side panel and place it in the groove just like any other assembly. That's my left side. Do the same thing with my right side. Actually, you can see I already made a mistake, but it's actually good to do that sometimes. You have to run a bead of glue halfway up both of these dovetails, and with a narrow cabinet like this, you almost can't get in there, so you're gonna have to spread it a little bit with your hand. You can also do that gluing beforehand if you'd like. Okay, now we can straighten that back out, just kind of holding it with my fingers there. Grab one of your spreader strips, finish side in ideally, although it doesn't really matter with these because you're not going to ever see the inside. I'm going to push that down till it contacts. Same with this one. Okay, I'm going to give our parts a little tap. Okay, that is your basic box column assembly. And now we just do the same thing we always do. We line these two up here. Okay, so we've got a nice flush top with our front frame, and that's our box column assembly. And these are typically, like we said in the introduction to this video, these are typically just used at back of an island for seating, that kind of a thing. So you're never going to see the inside of the cabinet. So it's really just a structural member. If you have any questions, talk to your cabinet coach, give them a call. They'll be happy to walk you through it. These are the easiest cabinets you'll build. These and dishwasher end panels and refrigerator end panels. Super, super simple. Okay, let's get started on the assembly of a wall filler column. You can see I built the base box column. These go together identically. You're going to follow the exact same methodology on this one as you did with this one. The reason I want to show you the wall one is it has two flush ends, so it makes the process a little bit different. So I want to just kind of walk you through that. So you're going to start with your filler. This one's got a flute in it, 3 flutes actually. Just start by gluing that up the way you would any other cabinet. You got 2 shoulders on either side of the spline groove. You're just going to go ahead and run your glue down those 2 shoulders on both sides. Okay, so we have our glue on our shoulders. Now we're going to take our cabinet side, and if you have a extended style like I did on this one, I had an extended style. The customer is going to be tucking a panel up behind that front frame. You want to make sure you have your cabinet side oriented so you have a top and a bottom on a base cabinet like that one. But this is a wall, so it's reversible. It won't matter. I'm going to go ahead and take those splines and put them in the spline groove. Both these sides are flush, which is not entirely common with these. Now, normally we would put both sides in and then run our glue. I can't do that because they're so close together, so I'm going to put my glue in first to get ready for this little guy here. I'm going to put one of these in to hold everything tight. That keeps the panel from tipping inward if it wanted to. Now I'm going to put glue on both of these. Okay. Get my mallet. Make sure my sides are down nice and tight. And then I'm going to put my second top or bottom strip in. Make sure it's down tight. And that's your base column. What makes this one a little bit different than one with no flush ends is you're going to have to clamp this, okay? So I don't have the clamps handy, but I'm going to run a front to back clamp on both sides to hold this seam right here nice and tight all the way down. Again, we don't always see 2 flush ends, but you're going to want to have clamps on both sides of this, or put a block of wood and try to get both sides with one clamp if you have a block of wood in the back. Fielder's choice on that, but again, that's how they go together, and they're about the easiest cabinets you could possibly build. These and refrigerator end panels, dishwasher end panels, super easy and typically only require one person. So if you ever have questions, contact your cabinet coach. They'll walk you through it. I hope you enjoyed watching.